Mukesh. This one. Okay. So Dr. Mukesh would be talking on free hand.
Free hand conventional, what is available to me.
Talking on free hand.
Free hand conventional, what is available to me. So let's go on. Let's discuss on these 5 points. What are the indications, cost, logistics, accessibility, what are the drawbacks, complications, and what evidence on accuracy and outcome. So we all know the indications are almost the same, that is 51-year-old bilateral metaphyseal varus grade 3, ideal indication to perform high tibial osteotomy. If you have a good calibrated scanogram and good digital software, you can perform a simple bilateral HTO with a conventional technique and give excellent results, provided you know the principles of osteotomy, how to preserve the hinge. Patient walking in 2 weeks after bilateral HTO in single sittings, and 3 months you have proper correction of angles and everything, and patient enjoying their life. So what literature says, does PSI have any role? A study demonstrated in 2023 says that PSI are accurate, but their application is not necessary for typical high tibial osteotomy. They say they can be useful in complex cases. So another one, a 44-year-old male with a severe varus deformity, bilateral knee pain, and it's a 17-degree deformity. Again, you need to have a correct scanogram, calibrated, a good software, calculate all those angles, and perform the osteotomy in a conventional way, and you can recreate the proper angles, the proper lines, and the happy face on the patient. So I don't know whether the PSI helps here. Another one, if you have a patient, you don't have a proper scanogram, all varus deformities are not in the tibia, as in this case, it's in the femur. So PSI may help in DFO also, as mentioned in the literature, but if you do a proper calculations, what PSI can do, you show the correction of angle and do the osteotomy correction before surgery. The same thing can be done if you have a good digital templating, good scanogram and good software. You can do a proper correction before surgery, and you can implement the same on the table, and you can see you have recreated the correct Mikulicz line, the proper MLD, MDF, MPTA and MLDF, and you can go and do intra-articular work. So what are the indications and techniques? They say it definitely helps you, what literature say, in plant corrections. We can have that with our routine. Reduction in operative time, I can agree to that if you are trained in doing that, but then you have to spend a lot of time before surgery, lead time for the surgery, and to design and planning and getting it correct. And what about increased cost and lead time for the surgery? But what does the paper says in 2025? For osteotomies of distal femur, PSI offers surgeon an opportunity to improve with similar outcome and similar complication rate compared to traditional osteotomy techniques. So next come logistics and cost. We were all talking about cost in meniscus. Let's talk about cost here also. You have to spend extra bucks. You have to wait long for lead time from from CT scan to the preparation of the jig, and you have to spend time before surgery onto the model where exactly it fits, how much it is correcting, and pre-operative CT scan again exposing to fluoroscopy, though you are reducing it intraoperatively and not that accessible. Another drawback of PSI, you need to have little larger incision to fix that big jigs, so more soft tissue dissection. The position of the jigs has to be very precise as per your planning, so that if you are wrong in superior-inferior plane, the MPTM may go wrong. If you are wrong in anterior-posterior plane, the tibial slope may go wrong. So if PSI is saying you have to be 4 millimeter distal to the medial tibial plateau, you have to be 4 millimeter, otherwise the screw angles and everything is gone. So you have less intra-op flexibility with the cuts. So intraoperative flexibility is not there with PSI, which I have with my conventional technique. And of course, you need to have that learning curve and how to implement it. These are other drawbacks. And don't forget, if anything goes wrong with PSI, your bailout is still conventional only. And what does the literature says? That however, no statistical difference of accuracy has been observed between this novel PSI and conventional in terms of MPTA, MLDFA, or complete HK axis. They have even compared navigation PSI with conventional, and they found that at 1 year, the hypothesis was not confirmed, all three techniques proved reliable and precise in HTO planning. Complication, let's come to other. Complications are about 10 to 15%, and what are they? They are same like conventional, tibial slope changes, hinge fracture, infection, delayed union, non-union. The same what we have in conventional, no significant difference between PSI and conventional HTO as far as complications are concerned. Let's see what about the functional outcome. Even the PSI and the conventional, there is no statistical difference at the end of 6 months to 1 year. The the functional outcome remains the same after both conventional and PSI. What about complex deformities? A 50-year-old farmer with this kind of valgus, if you plan it well, you correct it well, and you can have this excellent functional outcome even after conventional, no need to spend extra. Another malunited tibia, you plan well and you can execute it well. So what I mean to say, even in complex deformities, if you have correct scanograms, you have correct understanding of the deformity, you can do the biplane correction with simple high tibial conventional osteotomy. So if whether it's a simple or complex, indication remains the same, accuracy remains the same, complication remains the same, clinical outcome also remains the same, then I think that cost-benefit analysis cost us more rather than benefit. Thank you.